You both might have a different viewpoint. Our job is going to be to bring you both in a way together to make the best investment decisions.
Sometimes the time is right when the time is right. He is somebody I met in 2017. He always wanted to start with an investment in the Dubai market. And 2024 is what it was for him. He, along with another friend of his, wanted to really take a look at the Dubai market again and really start investing. So what we ended up doing is have them sign up on the Dubai Wealth Builder program. And it's a little bit of a challenge trying to get two friends who might think alike, can also think differently sometimes. Him and both of his friends were then escorted along into a strategy session. We then went on to help them virtually select properties, qualify based on the criteria that we established. One of them then visited Dubai. We went physically to see the properties, the different showrooms, and get a feel of the areas and the locations so that we could then make better decisions. The process took about maybe a month to 2 months, but the good thing is they win by getting the best property. Dubai wins by getting a great customer, great client. We win because we get to service them, and the real estate market in Dubai wins overall.
We're going. Good afternoon, Dubai, or wherever you might be tuning in from. Would love to hear where you're coming in from. And hello to everybody on Instagram, on YouTube. I'll take live questions. Qadir Hamid, Linda Muldoon. Hi, how are you? Hope you're very, very well. Guys, listen, here's the diddly, okay? On YouTube, I can't see you guys or who's watching or not watching until and unless you guys actually put in a question, okay? So I'd love to actually know where you're from, if you're an agent, an investor, and how I might be of absolute service to you. We generally go live between 11 to 12. We're a little bit late today, but thank you very much for hanging in there. I'd love to take questions, especially anybody who sent a question previously. I generally take them on and I answer them, okay? Okay, today, so somebody says, what do you think about studio in JVT or Sports City? Thanks. What do you think about studios in JVT or Sports City? Okay, so I think both of those areas are super good, super nice, very, very good, worthy of your attention for investment. If I was to say that one of them areas is slightly still undervalued, I would pick Dubai Sports City, and I'll explain why I'm saying this. The place that's still slightly undervalued, there is more appreciation opportunity, okay? Which means I think, Dubai Sports City, it's selling like 1,200, 1,300 per square foot, if I'm not mistaken. It generally definitely means that you've got larger opportunity to making more money, okay? Generally speaking. But that also means that when you're going in today, the place is not super infrastructurized, okay? JVT has much more infrastructure that is, you could say, actually, from a road network position, both are pretty much the same, okay? So which one would I take? Both are good. I would choose the actual individual project, the quality, the payment plan, and the pricing, okay? In my opinion, both are pretty good, okay? Welcome everybody who's watching. King Shoaib, Ahmed Al-Orabi. Guys, if you guys have questions, YouTube, Instagram, if you guys have questions, you can also join me on our WhatsApp hotline and we can actually have a real conversation on the phone, okay? So you can call that number that's displayed over there. So this is Ragdoll Ben. I'm answering his question, okay? Let's take some other investor questions here, okay? Some other investor questions. So an investor question is, I hear Dubai has tax-free rental income. Okay, so that's good. But what are the hidden costs I should know about? That's quite interesting, actually. So I hear that Dubai has it's tax-free, but what are the other hidden costs you should be aware of, okay? Generally speaking, now this is for everybody who's a buyer or a seller, the other costs associated to all your investments in Dubai are the primarily speaking the Dubai Land Department registration fees, which today stands at 4%. Some of you don't know this, but before 2013, this was 2%. Okay, so for a very, very long time, it was 2%, and then it became 4%. Okay, welcome, brother Ahsan Abdullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, so hope that tells you one of the other main components, the other costs. Okay, so there's a 4% registration fee. Then there is a, generally speaking, if you're buying from the resale market, a 2% agency fee. Generally speaking, okay, generally speaking, there's a 2% agency fee. Okay, then there are a few ancillary fees. I would say about, there's trustee fees of about 4,000, 5,000 dirhams. There's NOC fees of maybe about 500. It varies from 500 to 5,000 dirhams. On off-plan properties, it's 5,000 dirhams. On ready properties, it's 1,000 dirhams. So what you need to keep in mind is these small ancillary fees can come up to almost 1% on a transaction. Sometimes the seller paying, sometimes the buyer paying. At the end of the day, you've got to remember whoever is paying, it comes out of the entire equation. What do I mean by that? I'll explain something to you. Let's say a seller is paying 2% agency fee to his representative. That seller, if you get a transaction of 1 million dirhams, let's say you're selling a 1 million dirham apartment for him, and he's got to pay 20,000 dirhams to his agent, he's always going to estimate and think about the 980,000 he's going to get. So whether it's the seller paying fees or the buyer paying fee, it gets calculated in the bigger equation by every party, because they look at the net money that's coming into their pocket. Okay, so this is some of the other fees that you've got to kind of like keep in mind. Welcome Khalla, welcome everybody who's watching. Hey guys, thanks very much for being here. And if you have questions, shoot them across on Instagram or WhatsApp. Sorry, not WhatsApp, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. I'll be very happy and obliged to answer. Straight Path on YouTube asks, Salam, walaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Is it possible with a wealth strategy plan with FD Global to make 10 million starting from 500,000 dirhams in a span of 15 to 18 years? Oh, wow. I think in a span of 15 to 18 years, the quick, easy answer comes out to be yes. I think it's possible. There's a quote by Tony Robbins that when he says a lot of people overestimate what they can achieve in 1 year, and they underestimate what they can achieve in 10 years. So the fact that you did not say 1 or 2 years, but you said 15 to 18 years, that's very hopeful, right? So you're a person who's patient and you're willing to let your property and returns grow. And I'll give you an example, okay? You're going to have to be a little bit aggressive with your portfolio and a little bit aggressive with the buying and the selling that you do. If you just left your money as is, it will probably grow to about 2.5. So you said 15 to 18 years. Let's say a 20-year span. Let's say that that your money grows 5 times, because that's our past history. People who invested in Palm Jumeirah, money grew in about 5 years, 5 times. Okay, that's a conservative estimate of about 5 years. So if your money goes 500,000 dirhams 5 times, 2.5 million, and then 2.5 million grows 5 times, that's 12.5 million plus 2.5 million. Hey, you could hit about 15 million dirhams. Why not? Why not? I think if done carefully, you could. Okay, I do suggest, and I do look at your question to be a little bit aggressive, 500,000 to 10 million, but why not? It is not impossible. It's not impossible, okay? But it's a lot of value creation, which means you've got to be involved in the deals. You're gonna have to pick up some distressed deals along the way. Some of them are gonna have to be off plan, and you're gonna have to hope that they all work out in that scenario. So I think yes, you could get to about 15 million dirhams if you do the things right. It is not going to be easy. I think it's going to be quite challenging, but you'll have to put a plan in place and go with that. Okay. Muhammad Rihan says, Assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let's take a question. Okay. So somebody sent in a question. Let's take a question. Fahd Dawood, welcome on Instagram. So this gentleman says, Karan Singh Kin says, in hindsight, I've seen many new projects where the apartment sizes are way too small and finishing isn't that great. I've noticed this trend in cities here and there. Okay. Speaking of payment plan, yes, you save on financing cost in payment plan, but mortgage can be customized for long term, while the payment plan requires significant cash outlay during the construction. So let me answer first things first. If you've noticed that the sizes are smaller and the quality is going down, then you are not probably picking on the better developers. Okay. The better developers know what they're doing. If they've reduced the size, then they've reduced the price as well. You've got to be still a little bit careful on how you're doing it and who you might be doing it with. Okay. S. Yawari, Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you? I want to Nunu. I want to join in your firm. Okay. So the perfect answer to this is soon, very soon. Right now, we are not ready. Okay. I do not like to say now anymore that we are not hiring. Rather, I would like to say we are not ready. We will be ready soon, inshallah, bi'ithnillah. Why do I say this? Because when you join as a real estate agent, it is our responsibility to give you all the things that you need to succeed. And while we've had agents and advisors over the last 6 years, 5 years, 4 years, many years come and go with us, I personally still believe that we've got a responsibility to the agents when we bring them in. It shouldn't just be, okay, good, now make 100 dirhams and we'll keep 50 and you take 50 home. And anything else, we're not giving you any other support. You just have to make it happen on your own. I think that's not the best strategy. I think a lot of agents get burnt out like that. So when you come in, we should have proper structure, proper ways for you to be able to grow, train yourself, and get to a point where you can do better for yourself, right? Does that make sense? Okay. Welcome. So Shitu, very soon you will keep a lookout. You'll see on our website a link where you will be able to apply. Okay, it's going to be a serious application process and you will be able to apply. Muhammad Rehan asks, is it worth to invest 2 million in seafront location off-plan properties, for example, or okay, yeah, I think it's worth it. The only thing is you've got to wait a little bit. Okay, so you got to wait, like these areas that you're mentioning which are off plan, and you're going to be investing in a place where the infrastructure is not fully developed right now. You've got to remember that because the infrastructure is not fully developed, you're not going to realize all the massive capital appreciation that comes in instantly. It's not going to be like 1 day, 2 days, one year. It could take a little bit longer, but is it worth it? I think it's worth it, especially if you go with the suitable established developers who are known to do the right thing. Okay. Straight Path asks, is it allowed for 3 friends to become a partner, buy a villa of 6 to 7 bedrooms, live in it separately with partitions, and make arrangements for separate utility bills in Dubai or Sharjah? That is quite interesting for 3 friends. I think, yes, you can. If you're friends, you can. Like, if you're saying, Muhammad Rehan, thank you, sir. You're welcome, brother. May Allah bless you. If you're saying that can 3 or 4 friends buy a property and have the title deed in their name, yes, they can. That's number 1. Number 2, the second part is interesting, where you're saying, like, can they make partitions, and then can they have arrangements for separate utility bills? I think you can't have separate utility bills, because that one plot of land from the Dubai Electricity and Water Authority will have one allocation for one bill. They won't do 2 or 3 different bills, because that's how it is, right? But you could, essentially speaking, have that, and you could internally, like, you could live how you live, right? So that's kind of like asking me a question about, let's say, for instance, if there's 2 brothers or 3 brothers who own one large villa, if the facilities and the space is sufficient for the families to live there, then the government will have no issues. Like, you can do that. That's no problem, right? But the problem would be like if you had too many people living over there, or if it was becoming a hazard to the community where these people are living, then that might be a little bit of a problem. But otherwise, yes, you can absolutely do that, okay? All right, let's take some of these questions on. I have another question over here. This is from an investor. Everyone's talking about Palm Jumeirah, but are there up and coming areas with better returns? Okay, so what makes Palm Jumeirah so amazing, right? Palm Jumeirah so amazing. Essentially speaking, hey, welcome Nawaz Sharif. Welcome, Brother Asin. Assalamu alaikum. Hope you're well. What has made Palm Jumeirah super good, super amazing is the long history to the Dubai government being fully dedicated to developing Palm Jumeirah into a very iconic destination. Okay, so not only is it waterfront, but there was news that you could actually see the palm from space. It's very iconic. It's got amazing resorts over there, and it's kind of like been very synonymous with branding Dubai to the rest of the world, especially 2002 when the whole property boom started. Right, so the world knew about the Palm Jumeirah, which was an island in a desert with waterfront properties. Great story, right? So it really did well. But now you've got to realize something, that what's happened with that is, yeah, that's a great story, but Palm Jumeirah over the last 22 years has premiumized, right? So the premiums are higher. So if you want to get in there, the infrastructure is already done, which means if you buy today, you're going to be paying premiums to somebody else, okay? This excludes any distressed deals that you might be able to get. So now what's the next upcoming place? It's Palm Jabal Ali. But here's the disclaimer and the caveat. Like, you've got to understand that Palm Jabal Ali is going to take a little bit of time for it to come into the mainstream. Like right now, there's tons of work that's happening. The main structure was always there, but of course they are probably retouching it, foundationing it, or making it suitable for the intense development that is supposed to be coming over there, right? So you could look at that. Just keep in mind Palm Jabal Ali, and anybody who bought in Palm Jumeirah over 20 years, price went up by 5 times, and you got rental income. So if you want to experience the same story, keeping in mind that when the price goes down up, it also came down, right? And this is a question from one of the agents who asks, how can we help people understand cycles in the Dubai market? Okay, so this is something that I can tell you a little bit about, and you can understand if you read a little bit about market cycles, real estate cycles. Okay, real estate, what is a cycle? A cycle is basically, if you've ever seen a graph, prices go up, prices come down, prices go up, prices come down, so on and so forth. Okay, this is generally what Dubai or any other real estate market operates on a principle, generally speaking, right? There's 7-year cycles or a 2-year cycle, a 7-year cycle, sometimes 10-year cycles, so on and so forth. Okay, now what is the current scenario with respect to Dubai? So Dubai started as an emerging market. Like back in the day, 2002, it was like, pretty wild. There weren't all the rules and regulations in place which are today, which means that as an emerging market, the reward is super high. Like, can you imagine if people all over the world are coming to Dubai to invest? Ooh, wow. But there wasn't enough supply. So what happened to prices? Prices shot up. Right, so the prices went up really fast, really super high. And then there was the global financial crisis. What happened then? Prices came down really fast, super low, right? What does this mean? This just simply means that emerging markets, okay, there is a group of markets which are called emerging markets. They're prone to more volatility, which means the up is very high, very fast, and the down is very fast, very low, okay? And Dubai's kind of like seen those cycles in the 2008, maybe 2013, 14. Like we had a correction. We didn't have a market crash. But what does that mean? Does that mean that it's going to continue, and is it going to start again? No. In my personal opinion, the market, and we witnessed this with 2014, 15, 16, we didn't have any crash. We had a little bit of a correction. Again, same thing with the pandemic. We didn't have a crash. right? We had the market correcting itself a little bit because of the the world scenario with the weird pandemic that was playing on everybody's mind and so on and so forth. So what ended up happening was the market just kind of like came down slowly. It didn't crash. So keeping that in mind, I think Dubai market will be okay in the near future. You've got to understand these cycles, and you've got to understand if you're investing in Palm Jabal Ali. What is Asan Abdullah asks? Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, brother. How are you? Asan Abdullah. Okay, good question. I can see the question. What is the minimum budget required to buy in Palm Jabal Ali off-plan ready? What type of property? Okay, so at the moment, I believe that the minimum budget would be about 18 million dirhams. Okay, because most of the things that are being launched over there at the moment are villas, and they start at about 18 million dirhams with a 90-10 payment plan. So it's basically you're paying 90% during construction, and you're paying 10% on handover. Welcome, Iman. Welcome. So it's pretty aggressive, right? That's the way it is. What Nakhil has launched. I think I got to double check this. I think that there was a little launch of 3 or 4 buildings over there, but I might be mistaken. But the buildings will come, okay? So the buildings and the residential apartments will come at some stage. Just like we've got them on Palm Jumeirah, you will have them in Palm Jabal Ali as well. Don't expect prices to be at Palm Jabal Ali prices, because we're in a market that's pretty hot. But you can rest assured that those buildings will come. At what stage and how, I don't know. Right now, the minimum amount is about 18 million. Okay, these are for villas. Number 2, what's off plan ready? There's nothing ready right now in Palm Jabal Ali. There's absolutely nothing ready. You've got to keep in mind that in Palm Jabal Ali right now, they are it's like Palm Jumeirah without all much bigger. Okay, I should say it's much bigger, but it's like Palm Jumeirah, but it's without all the development. So imagine like it's sand, and with the fronds, cars cannot go there very easily right now. They've launched these, and of course there's infrastructure work is getting done and finished up over there to reach the stage where they can start building the villas and so on and so forth. So it's not today. It will happen, but it is what it is. Like when people bought in Palm Jumeirah, it wasn't built. That's what it is. So if you want to make the maximum amount of money, generally speaking, in the Dubai market, you've got to be the earlier one in a launch event. Okay, basically that's what it is. Okay, and you've got to catch the trend as early as possible, as early as possible. Like nobody can always catch the trend very, very early, but you've got to catch the trend as early as possible. Okay. Let's take some more questions over here. Okay. What's this service? So an investor asks, what's this service charge I keep hearing about, and why does it vary so much? Basically, service charges are charges used to maintain your apartments, building common areas. Or if you are in a community of villas or townhouses, they're used to make sure that the villas and townhouses and in the common areas are maintained super well. Okay, that's basically what your service charges are. You pay a service charge based on the area of property, or the built up area of the townhouse, the built up area of or we call it the net floor area of the apartment that you own. Okay, that's what it is. Why does it vary? It varies because of the kind of services you are receiving within your property, within the area. So if you've just got a regular pool and a regular security gentleman at the downstairs sitting on a regular desk, okay, that's like a mid-level building or a entry-level building in Dubai. Even if it's in the freehold area, you're not probably paying a lot. But if you've got a Olympic-sized pool with heating and cooling and a jacuzzi and a sauna and a steam room and a gym with techno gym equipment, then obviously you're going to be paying a lot more, and that's why you pay the service charges to take care of that. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Another question: if I buy off plan, what happens to my money? Okay, that's an interesting question. if you buy off plan, what happens to your money? Okay. If you buy off plan, what happens to your money is your money goes into an escrow account to the developer. Okay. By the developer, what does this mean? Like, what does the developer do with the money in the escrow? The developer uses that money to construct the apartment, the townhouse, the villa. That's their job. They're supposed to use your money to develop the apartment that is supposed to be handed over to you. That's what happens, okay? This escrow account is monitored by the Dubai Land Department, by the regulatory authority, RERA, Real Estate Regulatory Agency, so on and so forth, to make sure that investors are protected when they've actually invested in the Dubai market. Hope that makes sense, okay? Let's take some questions for agents, okay? When's the right time to discuss mortgage pre-approval? Right at the start. Right at the start. When they come in trying to talk to you, you want to understand, like right there, like, hey, are you going to be needing a mortgage? Yeah, well, sure. You need a mortgage? No problem. Have you been pre-approved? No harm in asking them right then and there, okay? It always helps to ask them. And if they haven't, fine, no problem. Show them to a mortgage consultant who can actually help them, right? You would like to do that, okay? Welcome, Digital Andy Shifu. Welcome. Asan Abdullah says, thanks. 18 million villa today in Palm Jubilee. When was the project launched? And the initial, Shifan, hi, hello. And the initial prices then. I want to understand how much growth has been realized already. Just a rough illustration. I think the original, I think the original villas were launched about a year ago, okay? The original villas were launched about a year ago. You can actually find them online. And the original villas, I could be mistaken, but they were between 14 to 16 million dirhams. Okay, so they were between 14 to 16 million dirhams. Okay, and I could be completely mistaken. So please, we fact check this. Do not just rely on this. But they were between 14 to 16 million dirhams. Okay. But you've got to understand something. If you think how much capital appreciation has it, you've got to understand this is the developer selling their stock. Okay, this doesn't mean that there is necessarily a market already in place for villas. I'm doing a quick search to see if there's actual properties which are selling first sale. What does first sale? Okay, first sale. Right. 21 million. Looks like this is somebody trying to resell a property that they've bought. We'll be able to check if there is. Yeah, okay. They're selling plots, they're selling villas. We'll be able to check if there's, I'm just checking live, guys, right now, online on the resources that I generally look at, which is Property Finder, DXP Interact. I don't see any resales happening yet. So it looks like people are in the market trying to resell. Yeah. So this goes back to brother Ehsan. I've got to explain this to you, that most likely those resales, I don't know if they've actually started happening yet. Okay, so so the tricky part is you're thinking, okay, 16 million, and if it's 18 million now, that means that property's already gone up. Fine, sure, no problem. But then how do you know that unless you can resell? Do you understand? Okay, you've got to see if there's actual resale happening. Okay, so that's what I was actually just checking. So don't just rely on that. Yes, the developer has increased the price, which is fine, and this will push the market up, and they are selling out. So the moment they launch, the EOI or the expression of interest are like 500,000 dirhams, refundable if you don't buy the property, but they do sell out. Mona Medhed, welcome. If you guys have questions, I'm happy to take them. Okay, so let's take another question from an agent. Okay, how do I explain the impact of Expo City on surrounding property values? Okay, I like the question. This is a good question. Okay, guys, listen, something very interesting. Obviously, we talk about Expo City and so on and so forth. What I did was last weekend I had the opportunity. I was going down the road, and I said, okay, well, I had some time, so I was like, okay, let's just keep driving and see if we can get to Expo City and see what's going on. A couple of things happened. Okay, number one, I think this was my third trip ever to Expo City. Every time, a third or fourth or fifth. Okay, ever since Expo 2020 happened. Every time we go down there, or maybe actually more trips, right? I made some trips with Brother Aston as well. Every time you go over there, you actually end up realizing that the distance isn't that much, because the road network that connects into Expo City is very good. It isn't like they launched the city and then they said, oh, we're going to make it super nice. Expo City is already super nice. Like, if you really go there, the parking, the hotels, the actual expo pavilions that were made back in the day when the expo was taking place are super nice. They're super good. The metro already connects there. So it's not like they said we're going to launch a city and then we're going to put all this infrastructure around there. This is one place that it's happening in reverse. The infrastructure, the road infrastructure, the sewerage, everything's already there. The metro station's already there. So you kind of like going reverse now, which means when you go and invest over there, you're not going to be able to, because they're going to sell it at a higher price because the infrastructure is already there. So you got to keep this in mind. But furthermore, you've got to recognize that a lot of the city will move down that side once the airport's operational, so on and so forth. It's going to continue, and it's going to have a lot of population and people moving to that side. So when you look at Expo's infrastructure, you look at the road network connects in. So the Expo City, like there's 4 or 5 ways you can connect in from Abu Dhabi or Dubai. I went in like super easy. I got out super easy. Given that it was like a Sunday morning, fine. It was a Sunday morning, so it wasn't like super busy, but still, it was super, super easy. Hey, welcome, Ad Lishi, Koser, Abdul Wahab, Brother Asan. Love to have questions from you guys, and I'd love to answer them on YouTube or Instagram. We'll be ending the live pretty soon, so if you guys have questions that you've been thinking about asking, send them across. So Expo City, great infrastructure. Metro station already goes there. Hotels, there's a few already there, like the Rove and Lofts and so on and so forth. What about the entertainment district? What will happen? Well, there's one. All right, I'm back on Instagram. Okay, guys, sorry about this. I apologize for that. So a lot of people don't know about this, but what ended up happening at that time was there weren't all the rules and regulations clearly in place. But as we were growing, we were almost there, and we were putting them in. Okay, post 2008. Any development that happens in Dubai has to happen with escrow compliance, which means that your money goes into an escrow account, and the developer is kind of like pretty much set to actually develop your property. Okay, which is why I would tell you, I would fathom, or I would go out so far as to say that most of the developers in Dubai post 2008, when they've started development, they've actually finished. Okay, very, very, very rarely you will see a development that's not actually finished. All right, guys, welcome and thank you very much. I really appreciate everybody who joined in today, for coming through, sending your questions. Of course, I have questions that the investors have already asked, so I sometimes answer those as well. I want to say goodbye to you. Look, we go live during the week once and on Saturdays. You got questions, just send them across. Happy to answer. Bye for now.
You both might have a different viewpoint. Our job is going to be to bring you both in a way together to make the best investment decision.
sometimes the time is right when the time is right. He is somebody I met in 2017. He always wanted to start with an investment in the Dubai market. And 2024 is what it was for him. He, along with another friend of his, wanted to really take a look at the Dubai market again and really start investing. So what we ended up doing is have them sign up on the Dubai Wealth Builder program. And it's a little bit of a challenge trying to get two friends who might think alike, can also think differently sometimes. Him and both of his friends were then escorted along into a strategy session. We then went on to help them virtually select properties, qualify based on the criteria that we established. One of them then visited Dubai, who went physically to see the properties, the different showrooms, and get a feel of the areas and the locations so that we could then make better decisions. The process took about maybe a month to 2 months, but the good thing is they win by getting the best property. Dubai wins by getting a great customer, great client. We win because we get to service them, and the real estate market in Dubai wins overall.